Welcome back. My name's Hayden,
I'm Barry.
and this is the Sphere Audio Video YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about the type of equipment you're going to use in your home when you decide to do home automation. So, Barry, where do we start out with picking equipment, and what type of equipment is needed?
So basically you need to, if you're a customer, you need to think about what type of system that you basically want. Like, how do you want your system to function? What do you want out of your system functionality? Like, when you're sitting there watching TV, what do you want to be able to do?
Right.
You know, let's start with video. You know, what kind of video sources do you have in your house? What are you going to be watching? You're going to be watching a cable box or a satellite.
Yeah.
Do you have, you know, a streaming device that you watch your Netflix or Hulu or whatever on? You know, are you just streaming? Are you, you know, do you just watch, you know, your shows off your cable box or satellite box? Are you watching a DVD player? You know, that kind of stuff. Like, how many devices are you going to have? How many TVs do you want?
And where do you want to see those devices?
Exactly.
Or cable boxes or Apple TVs. How many rooms do you want to see them? Just in 4 rooms or every room in the house? Because those things matter, you know.
Yeah.
Up front, knowing how many rooms you want to be able to watch certain video in is very important, because there's the devices that we use only have so many inputs and outputs. You know, there's a 4x4 HDMI matrix. Well, that's only going to be good for 4 rooms and 4 devices. So if you have 5 rooms, we got to step up to the 8x8, and so on and so forth, all the way up to about 24x24.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing how many rooms you want certain video to be in is very important in the beginning.
Because if you have guest rooms, you don't want people to have, like, if you have control system and you want everything on, you know, the platform to control it with a remote, you know, you don't want to have your guests coming in being able to do stuff or be on there. You know, maybe you just want to have them with, you know, just whatever, a standalone TV with, you know, cable box or whatever.
Right. So standalone being like a local room, which means that this room is not part of your Control 4 system. This is just a room that has a cable box either on or behind the TV that person in that room can control with a normal remote. Just like any other TV that's not on the home automation system, it's just local to that room only.
Right.
They have no way of going in, because what you have is you have every one of your devices, your cable box, your Apple TV, your Blu-ray player, and any other devices, Roku, that are on there. And if you're watching them and somebody gets in and wants to watch the same thing you're watching, they can change the channel. So we have solutions for that. A lot of times what we do, instead of getting just one cable box, we'll do 3 cable boxes. We'll do one for the owner, either the husband or the wife, so a his and a hers cable box, so 2 of them, so he can record whatever he wants to watch and watch it whenever he wants to watch it, and not interrupt what she's watching and any recordings that she might have. And a third one is a general one for just anybody else in the house. You know, it could be the kids or it can be guests, and you can have all your guest rooms on the system as well. So we do that. And then a lot of times with the streaming services, with Apple TV or Roku or any other streaming boxes, we'll have more than one. We'll have a his and a hers, and same situation. They don't mess with each other's TV shows and recordings and things like that, and they don't mess up whenever they're watching this TV show, like on Netflix. Somebody, you know, hits play and was watching a show that you were watching. You're not going to stop back in the same spot. So knowing those type of things is very important when you come in. And those things, when we come into our showroom and you sit down with us, we're going to go over them with you. We're going to try to give you every scenario that's going to happen.
That's right.
And give you the best, so you can have the best possible experience. So, is there anything else with video that you can think of besides having what rooms you want to have and what rooms you don't want to be on the system?
I don't think so. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So next will probably be going into the audio.
Right. Like, where do you want, you know, or do you want to just listen to the TV? You know, if you're sitting there watching the, you know, do you want it to come through speakers, or you just want it to have come through the TV speakers? You got to think about those type of things. You know, is it just a local room? You don't really care to have it come out of, you know, speakers in the ceiling or whatever, or, you know, do you want those when you're sitting there watching TV? You want to be able to hear the speakers, hear the, you know, the sound come through the speakers.
Yeah.
You know, also,
Yes.
do you want speakers in that room for, you know, music listening? You know, we can make that happen for both listening and audio, you know, video and audio both as well.
When you get to with audio as well, it's almost the same concept as it is with video, knowing which rooms you want to have audio in.
Right.
And one of the big things we come up with football around here is people watching Alabama or Auburn, they want to watch the game on CBS but can't stand to listen to those two commentators, so they turn on the radio station. So they want to be able to watch the game and listen to the radio at the same time. So those are things that are important for us to know so we can make that happen.
That's right.
And not have to come back later and try to do that. It's things, you know, those type of things we have to know.
That's right.
And it's also important to know that when you're doing distributed audio, which is just like distributed video, each room throughout the house, which rooms you want to have audio in, is where to put your money in speakers. Because a lot of people think that we just want to buy all these same speakers and have them uniform throughout the house. And that's good. You want to do that on distributed audio. You want to have a decent speaker throughout the house for your distributed audio, but you don't need top of the line. All you're playing is stereo audio throughout the house just to listen to music or just to listen to a TV show or the radio.
Right.
If you're going to have a dedicated theater or a room with surround sound, you need to focus more of your money on a premium speaker
In those
areas.
Yes, for sure.
And then not do high-end speakers just in a guest bedroom that you're never going to be listened to besides 1 or 2, 3 times a year.
Right.
So those are things to think of as well. Like I said, we'll give you those ideas. We'll show you the best options to make that, you know, the best experience for you. And then also with having a dedicated theater for premium speakers, you want to also think about if you have a pool outside or an outdoor patio or something like that you're going to be outdoors listening to all the time. I would put more of my money into premium speakers for out there as well, because you have a better sound. Everybody's outside now listening. You want to have the
area covered in
sound.
Yeah.
And it's just a better experience for being outside, because when you have a pool, you can enjoy it better with outdoor speakers. So just where to focus your money when you're thinking about speakers is the best thing to do.
That's right.
So now after audio, let's move into like the security, more of surveillance, because security itself, I mean, that's just kind of generic. There's not really anything you're gonna pick besides, you know, what you want to cover in the house.
Right.
And we sit down and go over that with you as well. So let's talk about security and surveillance.
Yeah.
What type of security you might want, and then
Right.
the cameras you want to need.
Yeah. I mean, the security system itself, you know, like you said, I mean, it's basic. We're going to try to cover the house. Just depends on if you want monitored fire or not. That kind of changes here and there. Depends on code sets, but most of that's mainly basically the same on every job. Just cover the house with blankets of security.
So we're going to cover all points of entry with the door contacts.
That's right.
The best way that we can, that being magnets that are roller balls or just on door contacts, things like that. We'll do those on all points of entries. That's going to be your front door, your back door, any garage door.
That's right.
Anything that you can get to the house.
Right. Because a lot of people like to know feedback for their garage doors are open or closed.
Yeah,
roll-up doors, because sometimes you leave them open and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
So, but glass breaks for windows, motions throughout the house. Keypads wherever we need them.
Yeah, keypads is good because that's a good topic, because a lot of times we have kind of a thing with the brightness of the keypads and having one in the master bedroom. It's a good thing to think about where the location you want that, to where you can still easily access it, but it's not bothering you at nighttime.
Sure.
And also our keypads will
We can turn the screens off.
The screens will shut off, yes. But it's good to think about where you want to have the keypads and the keypads throughout the house.
Right.
If you want, a lot of times you have one in the garage when you're coming in or right inside that door.
That's right.
So just thinking about where you want those locations. And then now, surveillance, that's kind of a more detailed.
Yeah, just really depends on kind of where you want to put, funds towards that, because you can get, a 1 or 2 megapixel, 3 megapixel camera has a fantastic view, but they may not. Depends on the type of night vision that camera has. Some are better than others, obviously. So it just depends on kind of what you want that to really work like. Do you want to be able to see facial recognition? Do you want to see up close? Or you're just trying to get a broad area just to see if somebody comes up in your yard, that kind of stuff. So it kind of just depends on what you really want.
So what we like to tell customers when they're deciding about what kind of camera they're using is to make sure that they think about the quality of the picture, because a lot of times when you have recordings of people coming to your house and stealing stuff or getting on your property and trespassing, if you don't have a good high quality picture that can see their face or see the vehicle or their license plate, all you have is a very nice recording of somebody coming in and stealing your stuff or trespassing on your property. And you can't do anything with it. You can't get somebody apprehended for it, and you can't get your stuff back. So we like to push our customers a little bit to make sure they think about high quality cameras in certain locations, and you don't have to have those high quality cameras throughout. You can have, if you have 8 cameras, half of them can be the high quality, the other ones can be in other locations that don't really have a high volume of somebody being able to come in and break into your home.
You just need to see activity.
Right.
Yeah.
And before I let you go, the other thing about cameras is a lot of people just think that it's just about people breaking into your home, or it's just about seeing if somebody's trespassing. But a lot of times people use their cameras for other reasons. My cameras I use if I call somebody and say, hey, I need somebody to come out and check my AC system outside, and they say I'll be there at 2 o'clock, and I go back and check the camera, and they never came,
right,
and they give me a bill, I can go back and say, nobody was here throughout the day, I'm not paying this bill because you never showed up.
Yeah, just keeps accountable.
Accountability. Same thing with gardeners, landscaping, maids, cleaning, people, when people arrive.
Yeah.
When people say they're going to be there. Children saying they got home at some time.
That's right.
And they really didn't. They got there a lot later. All these things you can go back and verify.
Yeah.
So there's more uses to a camera than just seeing if somebody breaking into your house.
Right. Especially if you have a secondary home, or if you're not home a lot like you were saying, you can definitely keep whoever or whatever accountable. Are you supposed to be here at this time, whatever. Or you may just want to, if it's a second home, you could have, a storm come or something. You may want to be able to see what kind of damage you're looking at, or whatever, So they definitely help for different situations for sure.
Right. I'd say, what would be the next thing you would want to talk about equipment-wise, so people?
I would say maybe window treatments.
Window treatments, so shading and curtains and stuff like that.
Right.
So we can't automate the shades and the blinds. That's more of your expertise. I'll let you go on that.
It just depends on what do you want for which area. Your bedroom, you might want to do a little darker of a roller shade. Maybe pair that with a blackout shade, so you get full darkness when you sleep, and be able to roll a blackout shade up and still have privacy, but a little bit of light to come in.
Yeah. Or in a room in the theater that has a window, and all of a sudden you think it can't happen.
Yeah, then you can put a blackout shade, turn that thing on, and as soon as you watch a movie, it's complete darkness in there. Right. So a lot of different options. Just depends on where do you want what, and what scenario you kind of want to think about for each room for that kind of stuff. Do you want to fancy it up a little bit and have curtains, drapery, or in certain rooms versus having a shade, or have both,
And there's also the different types of fabric. I mean, you don't have to have the same fabric throughout the house. You can have,
That's right.
more of a generic, regular colored shade throughout the house in certain areas. And let's say in the dining room or something like that, that might be a little more, fancy or
Yeah.
upscale. Have a different, because there's all different types of
Yeah.
finishes and
Well, like
and
you know,
fabric.
like your living room may be different than your dining room. Your bedroom may be a different color than some of the other parts in the house. You want a different type fabric to match the color in your bedroom or a bathroom or your kitchen area or dining area versus what you have there. And you might have something completely different in another room and bedrooms, because they're
There's
different
a wide
colors.
variety
Yeah,
of
there's
things
tons
you
of
can do.
stuff.
You don't have to be the same throughout the
Yeah,
house. And when
outside you may have,
Yeah.
you've got different colors for outside shading.
outside shading is a
So-
good thing, knowing if you want. And we even have the ability to do automated screen porches where you can have a porch and you want it to be opened up one day and the screens roll up, and then you want it, it's
That's right.
summertime and it's the middle of mosquito season, you want to drop them down, you can do that.
That's
Those
right.
are things we need to think about. But like I said, coming in, talking to us, we sit down and we'll show you the fabrics, we'll show you how it works. We have demos of how those things work. And so you can get a good idea of what it's going to look like in your house and the type of fabric that you want. And bringing in your interior designer, they can come in with you. We can sit down, we can show them, they can pick out those things as well. We work with interior designers all the time with these things. So there's a whole list of things we need to go over whatever you decide to
That's right.
do.
I mean, lighting.
Full system.
I mean, basically what kind of control you want over your house, basically. What things you want in there.
Yeah, and the next thing that we'll go over, the last thing, would be knowing, like Barry said at the beginning, what exactly do you want to happen? What we have are things called scenes where the system can come in and you say, okay, I'm leaving, and it can turn all the lights off, lock all the doors, make sure the lighting is where you want it to be, and
Set the security system.
set the security system.
Yeah.
And there's also things where you go out of town and you're leaving for the week that we can make the system mimic like your home. Turn the lights on at certain times, so if people are coming by, it looks like somebody's at home all the
Yeah.
time.
Send you notifications like, hey, somebody came through the door, or.
So I mean, if you can think about something happening in your house with the lighting and the TVs and the sound and the shades and the locks and all those things that we can take care of. If you can think about a scenario, we can make it happen. But we need to sit down and come up with that and make sure that we are on the same page with you, so you're happy with what's going on in your house with your
Right.
system.
Because
So,
we want you to have the best experience that you want, because you're living with it day to day. So
Yeah.
we want your experience to be what you want it to be.
but like I said, a whole bunch of things to go over. Not very daunting, but there is things that we have to talk about and make sure, just like with any time you're building a house. It's another part of it. We sit down, we go over and tell you everything that needs to happen, give you some good ideas or suggestions, and either you take them or you don't, whatever you want, it's all up to you. But if you would like to come in and sit down with us at our showroom, give us a call at 205-777-5626 or visit us online at www.spearav.com. You can also see us on Facebook, Instagram, and this YouTube channel. So, until next time, my name's Hayden,
And I'm Barry.
and we'll see you.